Okay, good morning. This is Dana Marie Kennedy, was State Director with AARP Arizona, and I am with Coach Sherry Ann. And this is the continuation of our Back to the Basics. And it is hard to believe we launched this over 6 months ago, and we are now hitting December. So today is December 1st, which to me just seems amazing. So this is for those of us who want to fast forward to the end of 2020. Well, we just have 1 month to go. But with that being said, I mean, you still don't want to wish your time away and you want to live your life. And we also know that this is a difficult time, and many of us, are still working from home, myself included. And, we want to talk about healthy movement today. So I am going to go ahead and ask Sherry Ann to go ahead and give us why we want to stay healthy and move.
Yeah, we did launch this Back to the Basics back in March, and we've covered a lot of different topics. For those of you that are new to Back to the Basics with AARP here in Arizona, then feel free to go back on the Facebook page and access the other videos because they're all archived there. And we've covered a lot of wonderful topics. And, but the three pillars that we've focused on with Back to the Basics is proper movement, and using your body and getting proper sleep and good, healthy nutrition, proper nutrition. And because that's the foundation of us living a healthy life. And we're wanting to set ourselves up for success, especially during this time of a pandemic. And there's a lot of stress that really takes its toll on our bodies. And so setting yourself up for success is one of the things that you can do to help yourself, to ward off infections. And also, if you do get infected, then you are a better chance of coming through it much quicker and easier and not having some lasting impacts of it. So that's really the biggest thing that we want to focus on with you. And while you're watching, feel free to punch in some questions there on the page and we can answer them for you here while we're talking. So today is movement, and movement is such a huge thing, especially right now, because we're facing the imminent, possible shutdown again. And there's still a lot of people that are working from home and not moving as much. I mean, it was interesting because when all of this really first started happening, I saw so many people out and about. It was kind of amazing. And it's kind of not as frequent that I see as many people out. And I think that people are kind of losing their steam and hoping for things to change and hoping for things to be better. And what I want to encourage you is to just control what you can control. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And that's your body, your environment, your movement, and the things that you can do. And so your movement is one of them. But it is a huge stress relief. And there's so many ideas, and I think people just forget that you can branch out and try new things. And it's kind of fun because if you think about if you've never done dancing, take up dancing, and you don't have to go to a dance studio to take dance lessons. I mean, there's a plethora of things online that you can access. You can access dance lessons online. Did you know that, Dana?
I have never done a dance lesson online, but then I actually probably it's better that I don't do that. Um, I'm a little bit of a klutz.
Oh, but you know what though? It's who cares? I mean, laugh at yourself and have fun. I mean, that's the biggest thing is just having a good time and moving our bodies. But you can take dance lessons. There's so many things available online because I know that people don't necessarily want to go out and do something, but you can access things online. Like you can access wonderful yoga sessions online and do a yoga session in your living room and invite your partner to do it with you, or your kids if you have kids at home, or whatever's in your safe environment. But do yoga is one of those that's a wonderful mind and body connection, and the stretching is so healthy for you. So try a yoga class, access one online, and there's plenty of them on YouTube. I mean, the YouTube is the second most searched engine behind Google, so have fun with it. Tai Chi, that's another one where you're doing a lot of fluid movement and nice holds so that you can really have a nice mind-body connection. Because that's the other thing that I will impress upon people is having a mind-body connection, especially during this time of stress, because there's cortisol just surging through our bodies. So if we can just learn to calm ourselves, move our body, and let that cortisol process through our body and get out of our body, we'll be so much better off. Because when you don't process the cortisol, then it actually is harmful because it increases your belly fat. It sits there and it impacts your organs. So when we're having these surges of stress, it's really important to just take pause, move your body, and let it work through your body. Because usually, so a good example is, have you ever been in a situation, Dana, where all of a sudden it's like fight or flight, whether it's like, say you're driving your car and then all of a sudden something happens that startles you and you just feel this surge of adrenaline in your body?
Yes, I definitely have had that happen.
So that's an extreme case of cortisol surging through your body because it's a fight or flight. So that has to go somewhere. And if you don't process it, it actually is harmful for you. And so the best way to do that, if in an immediate situation, is breathe, because your body can help process it by breathing. But move, go do something. If you're sitting at home and that surge happens, just get up and walk laps around your house or walk laps in your backyard. But do something to process it out of your body so that it doesn't cause any harmful effects for you. So definitely process that out. Things that you can go do is go walking and go walking around your block, or if you want to go hiking, if you're comfortable with hiking is excellent because it gives you an opportunity to be on uneven ground. And so you're going to give your body an opportunity to train some muscles that you don't normally train when you're just on flat ground. So, but if you've never gone hiking where the ground is uneven, I would encourage you to stick to a flat surface first, kind of get some time in doing that, and then go to where you're on uneven ground just to help with your stabilization. But movement, that's one of the biggest things, especially as we age, is it helps all of your stabilizer muscles stay strong, because if we don't use it,
you lose it.
Exactly. So it's important because as we age, our flexibility goes away, our mobility goes away, and we don't want that, because then that increases our chances of an injury, a fall or an injury. Because I think, what was it, September that we did? That was Fall Prevention Month.
Yeah. And how much do you need to walk to make a difference and get your cortisol moving?
If you're trying to get rid of the cortisol surge, like, you can get rid of that within, a 5 to 10 minute walk. Like, all you're needing to do is get it, moving out of your body, out of your system. But I mean, the longer you can walk, the better off you are. My dad is going to be 76 this month, and or 74. I shouldn't make him older than he is. He's But he walks 6 to 7 miles every morning. He gets up, puts a book on tape, and he goes and walks the canal. And he does that so that he stays mobile, so that he's able to take care of himself. And so, but he had to work up to that. He wasn't able to wake up one day and go walk 6 miles. But so if you're not used to it, just start out walking around your block, and then slowly, like, do 2 laps around your block. And then just kind of build from there. But even if you're short on, there's so many things. If you're short on time, then if you do a 10-minute walk in the morning and a 10-minute walk in the evening, that's amazing. Ideally, we want to get in about 30 minutes of movement a day, at least 5 days a week. That's the mark that we would like to shoot for. And that movement can be in any form. It really, really can. It could be if you want to go swimming is a great exercise, because it's non-weight bearing, and you can do it for quite a long time. And so dancing, like I said, you could take a kickboxing class if you wanted to take a kickboxing class. You could do, like I said, yoga, Tai Chi, walking, all those kinds of things that you can do. Anything to, like, get you out moving and moving your body, and shoot for 30 minutes 5 times a week. Which leads me to goals, and so it is important to have, like, tangible goals that you can grab a hold of if you're wanting to get going in a movement. If you're wanting to start being physically active and you haven't been, creating some goals, and I like to call them SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals.
Yes.
Yes. So S stands for specific. So pick something that you specifically want to achieve. And M is measurable. Make it something that you can measure so you can see how you're doing as you're going along to get it. And A is attainable. Make it attainable, because if it's not, then, attainable or achievable, that's what A is. And it's disheartening if it's not something that's within your, make it just outside your comfort zone, but within your reach, something that that you can get to. And R is relevant. Make sure that it's worthwhile. Like, why do you want to do it? Because there's going to be days you're like, oh, do I really want to go walk 2 laps around the block? But why do you want to do it? Is it for your heart health? Is it so that you can be around for your grandchildren? Is it so that you can take care of yourself for your spouse, or your partner? Why do you want to do it? So make sure that it's relevant and there's a reason why you're wanting to do it. And then T is timely. Make it so that it's, you're on a schedule, so that you're doing it so that you can see, because it kind of goes in line with measurable. And when you have a SMART goal, it makes it so much more engaging and fun to do it.
And it's December 1st. So I think everybody who's watching should think about, using December to figure out, like, is there goals that you want to reach by the end of the year, and go into this holiday season and this month with some goals and follow that. I think that's a great idea.
And along those lines, because you had said it earlier, and I know so many people are like, I'm ready to put 2020 behind me. And I totally get that. It's just been such a trying year on so many different levels for everybody. And I mean, it looks different for me as it does for you, as it does for the next person, but it's been trying. But to put a positive spin on it, it would be so wonderful if you had a positive perspective on your own health for December. Like, how do you want to finish out 2020 so that you can have a positive spin on it? So create a goal for yourself, for your physical well-being, so that you can live your best life and finish off 2020 on a good note. I mean, how wonderful would that be to, set a goal for yourself by the end of the year so that you can walk into January 2021 with a great positive attitude of like, I did this for myself. I'm moving better. I can sleep better. I'm able to play with my grandkids, anything like that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just perspective. It really is perspective. I mean, the whole importance of movement is so that you can live your best life. And everybody's reasons are different, but it's really important that we do take movement seriously, because we do have a tendency when we're stressed to like shut the world out and kind of buckle down, and just because that's what keeps us safe and comfortable, but it's also hurting you. So make sure you are moving your body, because the other thing too is when we're aging is our bone density does diminish, and the less you move, the more brittle your bones will become. So when you're moving and you're putting impact on your bones, you're actually making them stronger. So it is really important to move, just so that you can help improve your bone density, so that if for some reason you do take a fall, you have a better chance of your bone not shattering and it actually staying intact. So movement is just a huge thing across the board. I mean, there's so many benefits to it. It's also going to help you control your weight, because this time of year, I mean, let's admit it, like we're having a little bit more to eat. It's colder. Some people tend to eat more comfort foods. It's holiday time. Our sweets have increased. So the movement is also going to help ward off that weight gain that typically comes in the winter time. So, and the other thing too is it improves your mood. Your mood, I mean, think about it. How many times have you, because I know you love to run and ride your bike and swim and everything. So, but tell me, how many times has it been where you've kind of been in not the best mood, but you go for a run and you come back and you're like, wow, I feel so much better.
I cannot think of a time when I've gone to exercise and I didn't want to, that I regretted that I exercised.
Perfect.
You just don't regret it. I always call it my reset button.
Yes.
And my attitude adjustment.
Oh, yes. Yeah. An attitude adjustment is perfect. Yes. I mean, because even when my kids are a little stressed, I'm like, go walk around the block, go, and then come back.
Yeah.
Or go ride your bike, or I don't care, just get outside, go move your body. Because it does improve our mood. It just does. And the other interesting thing about it too is people will say, I'm just too tired to exercise. My life is I'm just too tired. But it actually gives you energy. Yeah, it's going to make you tired because you moved your body, but it has this wonderful spin to where when you actually move your body and it takes energy, it actually gives you energy as well. Like you just feel better, you move better, your energy is up. So if you're feeling sluggish, go move your body. You'll be surprised at how energetic you felt after you went and moved your body.
And we have the best weather right now. And, I just can't emphasize enough how important it is to get sunshine, and was reading about, vitamin D, and, a lot of people, who are vitamin D deficient, if they do get COVID, the outcome is usually not as good as somebody who's not deficient with vitamin D. And one way to get vitamin D is that sunshine.
Yep. And the thing is interestingly enough, here in Arizona, in our sunshine state, we have sun, like it feels like 365 days a year. We have a huge population of people that are vitamin D deficient. And that is because we cover up when we go out into the sun. So in order for you to get your vitamin D, you have to have the sun on your skin. And so it's important that you don't wear sunscreen and you don't cover up the entire time that you're out getting your vitamin D. And because in the wintertime, the sun is lower on the horizon, the rays aren't as intense. So you can be outside longer and actually not get sunburnt because of how the sun is positioned in the sky, but get your vitamin D. So when you're headed outside to get your vitamin D, just make sure that your skin is exposed so that your skin can absorb the vitamin D.
Yeah, my great-gramps, he lived to be 99 years old, and he walked 2 miles every day. I remember him walking every day. And the other thing that I remember him doing is going out in the driveway with a lawn chair and soaking up the sun for at least 10 minutes. And yeah, and he had beautiful skin color and just perfect, beautiful skin. And I doubt he lacked vitamin D.
Right. No, I doubt it too. I mean, and the thing is our bodies will actually adjust and it will accommodate so that it takes time, but there's people that can go out because they spent time like that sitting in the sun and letting their body acclimate to the sun, that you have a natural sunscreen within your body, because that's kind of what vitamin D will also do for you. And so when people do that, they don't burn. And so they don't have the issues of skin cancer that we see, because it's just such an interesting thing. Like we put all these chemicals on our body to protect ourselves from the sun, but we need the sun, So it's just finding that balance.
Yeah. And he never was out there for that long, but he did like to, bask in the sun for at least 10 minutes. So I just always remember him rolling down his socks and sitting in that lawn chair and getting the sun. I never thought much about it, but made him happy.
He just intuitively knew, because, we didn't have that science probably back then, what we know now. And so he just probably intuitively knew that it made him feel better. Yeah. And so that's pretty awesome that he was that in touch with himself. And so, because it does, it makes you feel good when you sit out and get some sun on your body. It's healthy for you. Our immune systems are better. So yes.
I just think a lot about my gramps and the things that he did, and he lived to be 99. He never took any, medication. He walked every day. He got good sunshine, and he was healthy until the last month of his life, and he died of esophageal cancer. But I also think part of that was because whenever he had like reflux or antacid, he would take baking soda and water and drink it. It's probably not the best thing for him. But
99, Dana, that's pretty remarkable. And I'm sure him moving his body, like you said, 2 miles, that's amazing.
Yeah. And he did. He walked until the last month of his life. So he walked, until 99. We sure wish he would have made it to 100. But he's also my motivation, to make sure that I live a healthy life, because I know how important it is to take care of yourself and your body, and how it helps you to age and age well. And most likely I have good genes. So I live my life as if I'm going to be 100, and I want to be 100, and I want to be active until, I'm not able to be. But you were talking
Right.
about,
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be here that long, why
yeah. And you were talking about yoga earlier, and I thought I was in great shape, and then I went to take a intermittent yoga class and went to sit on my feet, and I couldn't, and everything started cramping, and I realized, you probably need to focus on a little more flexibility and stretching. So that's kind of been my goal for this year, is more yoga.
Oh, good. See, and you wouldn't have known that if you didn't try something new. So it's
Yep.
like that. It's so good to go try new things and move our bodies in different ways that we're not normally used to moving them, because then it really does challenge us, and it can reveal also to us areas that we need to work on so that
Yeah.
we can be the most healthy.
Yeah. Here
Yeah.
I am. I've done three Ironmans, the hardest one there is, and then I can't even do an intermediate yoga class. So it definitely made me humble, for sure.
That's awesome though that you figured that out. And and the other thing too that you'll love about yoga, if you haven't already discovered it, is just the quiet nature of it. Because coming from an endurance athlete, and especially the triathlon community, we're just go, go, go all the time. But when you sit in yoga, you're very present to your body, and you get really in tune with every little muscle and how you move. And it's just such a wonderful experience to have that mind body connection, because we're such a society that we're becoming more and more disconnected with ourselves. And so yoga is one of those things that I really, really love and impress upon everybody to give it a go, because you'll just learn and stick with it for a little while, because you'll be really impressed with how your body responds to it.
Yeah, my goal is to be able to work my way up to at least a 45-minute intermediate class, but I am not there yet. It's kind of
When
a
I first started,
slow
it took me a
progression.
long time to like quiet my brain, because I would be sitting in there and I would be thinking about all of the things that I should be or could be doing instead, rather than just sitting here in a pose. And then I realized that was why I needed to be there, was to just quiet my brain and allow my body to just heal and be really connected with it. And so, but yeah, when I first started, I was like, an hour? I can't sit here for an hour.
Yeah, yeah. And for those watching, we do have Coach Sherry Ann. So if there's a question about anything regarding mind, body, wellness, and movement, please go ahead and ask a question. We'd love to be able to put Sherry on the spot. And
I love being put on the spot. So
Sherry
another,
Ann, you're up to the challenge.
I am, I always am. But another huge benefit that I haven't touched on either is with movement is sleep. So the more you use your body and the more you move, the better you will sleep. And it's been proven. Lots of studies have done it. And so if you are struggling with sleeping and not sleeping through the night and waking up, or just having a restless night, and then moving your body will help you sleep so much better, because sleep is paramount. That's one of the pillars of health and wellness for us. And so without proper sleep, our body doesn't heal properly. Our hormones aren't regulated. And so movement, it's just, everything is interconnected. So moving your body on a regular basis will actually help you sleep better.
That's good information. And I know sleep is really important especially for the brain too. A
Oh,
lot of research.
Yep. That's when we reset. Your brain actually processes, when you're sleeping, all of the information that you took in from that day and files it to short-term memory, long-term memory. It's just so important. It's when our bodies heal. It's when our hormones balance out. And so it's just such an important thing. Really, really important.
So the most important thing is that, all right, my takeaway is we should move our bodies at least 5 times a week for 30 minutes.
Yep. And it could really be whatever you want it to be. I mean, it could be something as simple as, if you don't want to go out and about because you have some fear of that, then make sure you're doing something inside your home, whether you're taking a YouTube yoga class or a Tai Chi, or just get outside in your backyard, or, and walk laps in your backyard so you can get the sun on you. And so it could be as simple as doing a sit and stand, like from a sit position to a standing position, and just doing that, because that's kind of like a modified squat, but it's controlled. Bouncing on a yoga ball, just doing anything where you're moving your body, because when you sit on one of those big yoga balls and you bounce, like it's kind of interesting because it's almost therapeutic. But if you kind of bounce and move, like you're using core muscles that you don't normally use. So it could just be simple things, but definitely moving your body for at least 30 minutes, 5 times a week. And if you have to break that 30 minutes up into 2 blocks in the morning and the evening, then that's totally fine.
So one of the questions we have is from Brenda. Any sleeping tips for those experiencing hot flashes?
Oh, goodness. So there are herbs like black cohosh, which you can get in a tea, that will help diminish the feelings of hot flashes. Make sure that you are sleeping in a cool room. Like this time of year, it's great because you can open your windows and really get some cool air into your house. Make sure that you're sleeping in like a good cotton sheet, so that it's breathable. Nothing that's really going to hold the heat in, make sure it's not synthetic. So having your bed and having a fan in there, like, so that's the problem with like when you're having hot flashes, because it's all hormonal. But creating a nice, cool environment so that you can sleep, doing some melatonin at night and doing some breathing exercises at night before you go to sleep to really calm your heart rate. And so those things should help with hot flashes.
How much melatonin should you take if you take melatonin?
You can't really OD on it, but I would say 5 milligrams should be good enough, but you can play with it. So you can do 5 milligrams. And if it really kind of knocks you out, you can bump it back to 3. But usually I've found that 5 is a good amount to give.
Okay. Good to know.
But drinking tea at night sometimes really, there's, like I said, the black cohosh, that helps quite a bit with hot flashes. That's an herbal remedy.
I never heard of black cohosh. What is it?
It's an herb, but you can get it in a tea form. If you don't want to do tea, you can get it, I believe, in a capsule form. But it's just an herb that is highly recommended for women that are experiencing, in menopause, premenopause, or right in full-blown menopause.
Got it. Well, we're almost out of time. Do you have any additional tips?
No, other than just covering, the other fun thing about movement is, or make it fun. The thing about movement is make it fun, make it a social thing, make it a communal thing, in the sense of, I know it's at this time, it's really difficult to be communal because of COVID and whatnot. But if you have, your household, anybody else in your household that you can do things with, engage them to be in movement with you, because it'll make it so much more fun, so much more engaging. And if you have, a bubble that people within your bubble that you can be in movement with, then do that. Encourage them to come with you, because you might be a catalyst for them to live a healthier life. Because your movement, the older you get, you face health conditions, and the more movement you have, the better chance you have of warding off those health conditions and illnesses. It can lower your blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, all of those things. So just make it happen. Just pick a goal and go for it, and end 2020 in one of the best ways possible.
I couldn't agree more. And what do we have to look forward to in a couple of weeks?
Oh, yes, on the 15th. So I've been doing a lot of research on breath work. And so I'm very excited to share with your members all of the research that I've discovered in the importance of our breath. Because if we're not breathing properly, then there's a lot of things that aren't working properly. And so I'll be focusing on why breathing is important and giving some breath work techniques, and we can even do them together on the seminar. I'll be excited.
Sounds good. I look forward to it. I know when we did the techniques on breathing and stress relief, I put those to practice, and it helps me out a lot when especially I've been having to do a lot of media interviews. So breathing helps me a lot get ready for those media interviews.
Perfect. Oh, I'm so glad.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Sherry Ann. It was great talking to you and being motivated by movement. And I hope everybody learned something today, and make sure you set those SMART goals for your December and in 2020 in the best shape of your life if you can. So thank you. Thanks so much, Sherry Ann. And this concludes our program.
Thanks, Dana.